least you're back in.
And then it's,
Part of the journey.
They should, yeah, get them while
yeah. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the annual meeting to order, please, Monday, January 8th. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance. Very good, thank you. Move on to roll call. Madam Clerk.
Here.
Nargi? Here. Reynolds?
Present.
Weiss? Here. Brown?
Here.
Allersmeyer? Williamson?
Present.
Downing?
Here.
Snyder?
Present, thank you. All right, first item on the agenda is the election of officers for 2024. Do you have any nominations for president? Mr. Downey.
Mr. Pro Tem, I'd like to nominate you, Steve Snyder, for president of the city council.
Thank you. Thank you. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. First order of business.
Wait, we gotta do
Pro
pro
tem.
tem.
I was going to say,
I'm
will you
sorry.
accept, right?
Nominate.
Lyndon Johnson, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
If elected, I will not.
Next order of business would be nominate a pro tem.
Mr. Snyder, I would like to nominate Mrs. Nargi for pro tem.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second to nominate Nancy Nargi. Do you accept? Very good. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Nancy. All right, now we can move on to the first order of business. I entertain a motion to suspend the meeting. Motion to suspend so we can hear a resolution 2023-32.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second.
I'll go ahead and read that.
Thank you.
Resolution 2023-32, a resolution declaring the designation of certain real estate as an economic revitalization area and approving the application of property tax GEN Engine Services LLC personal property.
Thank you. Is there any comment from the public? Any comment from the public? Seeing none and hearing none. I'd like
Move to
entertain a
reconvene.
Motion to reconvene. Kevin, thank you. Is there a second? Nancy? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Very good. All right, moving on to the approval, the meeting minutes from December 6, 2023.
I move for approval of minutes of the December 4th meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes from December 6, 2023. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Presentation and disposal of claims, there are none. Presentation of petitions and communications, there are none. And the reports on city offices on file in the city clerk's office, the renewed department monthly November, Waterworks Department monthly November, and fleet maintenance monthly November. And they're available online, or feel free to come by my office and look at them.
All right, very good. That's very important. They are online. They are obviously available to be reviewed. I encourage anybody who has any questions to do so. All right, moving on, ordinances for first reading. Ordinance 2024-01.
An ordinance authorizing the city of Lafayette, Indiana to issue and fund its taxable economic development revenue notes series 2024 Anvil 26 project and authorizing and approving other actions in connection therewith.
Mr. President, I move that we hear and approve ordinance 2024-01.
Second.
Motion and a second. Thank you, sir.
So this ordinance is a bond ordinance for the Anvil 26 project, which you may have read about in the paper. This is the first time that the council is hearing about it. That is for a multifamily development on the corner of 26th Street and South. I'm actually going to ask that you table the bond ordinance for tonight. Ironman Properties is still in negotiations with IU Health for the use of the parking garage, and until that agreement is finalized, we are going to hold off on the financing portion. There is another agenda item later on that I will ask the council go ahead and proceed with tonight, but for now, we're asking that this ordinance be tabled.
We
Move we
entertain
table
a,
the ordinance as mentioned.
thank you, Kevin. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Nancy. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Moving on to ordinance 2024-02.
An ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance to Tippecanoe County, Indiana, to rezone certain real estate from CB to PDCC, 415 Columbia Street, petitioner Columbia Properties LLC.
Motion to hear. How about you, Mr. Reynolds?
Move to hear ordinance 2024-02 on first reading.
Mrs. Weist?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Come on up, Bryce.
Good evening, Kevin Riley with RTS Law, representing the petitioner. As mentioned, this is a rezone from CB to PDCC at the property at 415 Columbia, so just down the street. The purpose of the rezone is not to change the building or its use, but only to allow for the sale of individual commercial condominium units. We can't do that, pardon me, under the current zone, so that's why we had to change to the PD. The uses that will be allowed as part of this PD will all be the same uses that are allowed under the current zoning CB, with some exceptions. We're removing some that would otherwise be permitted by right, so it's actually a little bit more restrictive. The only change to the exterior that you might see are a couple of blade signs advertising tenants or identifying tenants, so similar to the PEFQ and Stewart and Brannigan signs on Main Street. So we received a positive staff recommendation, unanimous approval at the area plan, and request your approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Mr. Riley.
It does say on here that it's contingent on meeting all the requirements, assuming those are met as part of the PD.
Yep, that is standard language for a
Yep.
PD rezone.
Yes.
Any other questions? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Blinker?
Aye.
Nargi? Aye. Reynolds?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
Aye.
Brown?
Aye.
Williamson?
Aye.
Downing?
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0.
Very good. All right, moving on.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-03. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance to Tippecanoe County, Indiana, to rezone certain real estate from GB to I-3, 3430 Fairfield Court, petitioner LNT Supply LLC.
Entertain a,
President, I move to pass ordinance 2024-03.
Second.
thank you. Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Mr. Riley?
Thank you. Again, Kevin Riley with RTS Law, representing the petitioner. L&T Supply is the owner of the real estate. They own the property that's adjacent at 3420 Fairfield Court. They operate, or the business Top Shelf Wood Packaging is operating from that site. I think there's common ownership of the property owner and the business. They want to expand that business, but in order to do so, we have to rezone the site from GB to I-3. I think the zoning is appropriate in this particular location. We received a positive staff recommendation and unanimous approval from Area Plan in December, and request your approval. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions for Mr. Riley? Any comments?
Mr. President, this is in my district, and I've been there and walked it, and it's perfectly what we need.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Madam Clerk? we do
Blinker?
Aye.
Roll call.
Nargi? Aye. Reynolds?
Aye.
Weiss?
Aye.
Brown?
Aye.
Williamson?
Aye.
Downing?
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0.
All right, thank you. Moving on to Resolution 2024-01.
A resolution approving the detail of 2024 Water and Renew wastewater department budgets.
I move we hear and approve Resolution 2024-01.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Deal?
Good evening, Jeremy Deal, City Controller. All members of council, before you have a resolution of proposed 2024 operating debt service and capital improvement budgets for the Water Department, Stormwater, and for Renew. These budgets were reviewed and approved by the Board of Works on December 19th, and now I present to you for affirmation and your approval. The 2024 budgets include a 5% raise for all the utility employees, commensurate with that given to all the other departments in the city. The budget accounts for moderated costs of purchased power. The natural gas and electrical costs are anticipated to go down. That rate is expected to go down slightly for next year for electric, more dramatic decrease for natural gas. Chemical supply costs have somewhat monitored or reduced as well for the forthcoming year. And we expect only a slightly increased health insurance cost in 2024, that being around 5%. Revenues for water, stormwater, and wastewater are expected to increase slightly across the board for next year. The water operating fund budget of $12,800,256 reflects an overall increase of $326,112 compared to 2023. That's a 2.6% increase. Incorporated into that increase are the aforementioned salary and benefits costs, as well as outside legal services that have been increased a little bit due to pursuit of the rate case. We also have a reduction in credit card fees and engineering services, which had been significantly increased for 2023 in conjunction with the master plan for water. We have an annual transfer from the water operating fund to the depreciation fund of $1.5 million, and that remains unchanged from the prior year. The water bond and interest fund is based on the amortization schedule for payments of the 2018 water bond, and that budget is not very exciting. It simply follows our debt schedule. The depreciation fund budget conservatively established at $2,250,000. And projects that budget is to fund include continued change out of water meters, improvements to the GLIC chemical feed structure, roof repairs at the water campus, as well as infrastructure expansion at the steel site and purchase of a new jet vac truck. We also have the Water Main Replacement Fund, a budget of $1.2 million. We effect an annual transfer per our most recent rate case and transfer $244,834 from the operating fund to the main replacement fund. We've not tapped into the main replacement fund specifically in the last 2 years, but it is there to address needed improvements to our existing infrastructure. All these funds are, the budgets are fundable with existing resources and anticipated revenues. They're very conservative, and I have no question about the ability to fund all these operations. Moving on to renew this and the stormwater department. The stormwater operating fund budget is planned at $3,841,970. And that will cover operational costs of the department as well as an allocation of 10% of 3 specific utility billing office employees who dedicate some effort towards the stormwater ops and billing. A $1.2 million transfer is planned to be made from the storm operating fund to the stormwater depreciation fund. The Stormwater Depreciation Fund then has a corresponding $1.2 million expenditure budget, so that's a balanced budget there for planned equipment purchases and potential storm infrastructure improvements. The larger Renew Operating Fund budget is $43,438,324. That is up $1,091,961 compared to the revised 2023 budget. That is a 2.6% increase. Again, increases in salary and benefits costs, increased costs of sludge removal and credit card processing are partially offset by reduced costs of chemicals, electricity, and natural gas for next year. A planned transfer of $12 million from the Renew Operating Fund to the Renew Depreciation Fund is to be made next year. The bond and interest fund for renew, again, mimics the amortization schedule and will provide debt service payments. The renewed depreciation fund budget is spending $12 million for next year. That's an increase of $1 million over the 2023 depreciation budget. This fund accumulates transfers from the operating fund to maintain and refurbish infrastructure and provide new improvements. Planned projects upcoming are a new Rainy Brook Lift Station, an emergency project at Wabash Avenue near the Renew campus, continued development of Park East Boulevard and Service Area 11B, as well as equipment upgrades. I'm available to answer any questions you might have about the budgets here tonight, but I respectfully request your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Deal. Is there any comments or questions from the council?
Have we so far seen the savings from the solar fields? Is it showing the utility reduction? Or is it not really noticeable
The
yet?
big one is not yet online. Is
Okay.
that the one on the campus?
Right.
That's,
They're
There'll be a
just now
future
breaking
Just now
project.
breaking even,
down,
yeah,
putting
or,
some of the
yeah,
panels in and stuff, so that's not.
not showing yet, okay,
I hope to have good news on that maybe next year,
Next year.
certainly the year
Yeah.
after.
very good.
Thank you. Is there any public comments and/or questions from the public? All right, very good. Let's move on for roll call. Madam Clerk?
Clinker?
Aye.
Nargi? Aye. Reynolds?
Aye.
Weiss?
Aye.
Brown?
Aye.
Williamson?
Aye.
Downing? Aye. Resolution passes 7-0.
Thank you. Moving on, Resolution 2024-02.
A resolution approving the interlocal cooperation agreement concerning the animal shelter.
I move we hear Resolution 2024-02.
Second.
Motion and a second on the floor. Thank you. Is there any discussion?
Yes, so we've been talking about the new animal shelter for at least a year, if not longer now, and the cooperation that is part of that between West Lafayette, and Tippecanoe County. The agreement, the resolution you have in front of you formalizes that agreement, the interlocal cooperation agreement. It spells out our desire for joint sheltering services, lays out the financial contribution by both the county, city, and West Lafayette. The agreement does provide for a pro rata escalation of those fees. We had to use placeholder fees for the agreement until the project is completed. But if the project expenses do exceed the amounts listed in the agreement, they will be shared pro rata between all the agencies. The agreement also provides, since the animal shelter is in a building owned by Tippecanoe County, but a significant investment is being put in by the city of Lafayette, the agreement also provides a mechanism for the city to recoup some of that capital outlay towards the building if the partnership does not, for at least the first 15 years. If something were to happen and the partnership were to dissolve within 15 years, there's a mechanism for us to recoup some of that capital outlay that we put into the building. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the council? Any comments or questions from the public? Hearing none, we'll move on for a roll call. Madam Clerk?
Clinker?
Aye.
Nargi? Aye. Reynolds?
Aye.
Weiss?
Aye.
Brown?
Aye.
Williamson?
Aye.
Downing?
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0.
All right, thank you. Moving on to Resolution 2024-03.
A resolution confirming the designation of certain real estate as an economic revitalization area, ERA, and the approval of an application for property tax abatement.
I get to entertain a motion to hear this. Mr. Downey?
I move the resolution 2024-03 be read and approved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Dennis? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Dennis Carson, Economic Development Director. We went over this at the last meeting in December, so I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions or comments from the council? Any questions or comments from the public?
I think Eileen's probably.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm assuming
Wiest.
that this took place of the other resolution that we had the public hearing on.
I'm sorry, what's your question, Eileen? This is the resolution related to the public hearing that we had at the beginning of the meeting. Since we do have to declare an economic revitalization area for the project, it is a two-step process. We did the preliminary declaratory resolution last month. We held the public hearing earlier this evening, and this is the confirmatory resolution.
Oh, so it's separate.
Yeah, it's a separate resolution, but it's confirming the one that was adopted in December.
And it's all for GE Aviation?
Yes.
41 jobs.
Good question. Any other comments or question from the council? Any comments or question from the public? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Blinker.
Aye.
Nargi.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Weiss.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Williamson.
Aye.
Downing.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on. Resolution 2024-04.
A resolution of the Lafayette Common Council approving an amended declaratory resolution and the plan of the redevelopment commission and the order of the Tippecanoe County Area Plan Commission.
A motion on the floor.
Move we hear Resolution 2024-04 on first reading.
Motion and a second. All right, thank you.
All right, this is the, well, not so much second part, since we tabled the first one. This is also related to the Anvil 26 project. We did table the bond financing ordinance, but if you recall from prior bonds that we've issued in this, part of the process is also amending our economic development plan to include the proposed project. That goes to APC. If APC approves it, then it comes to the council for us to approve the APC order. So this one does have a public hearing that is scheduled for the January Redevelopment Commission meeting. So the reason we're asking you to move forward on this today is so that we can keep that January hearing date, but it does not obligate the city to any of the financing. This simply adds the project to our plan. It also removes 8 parcels from the consolidated Creasy-Treese allocation area, which is a sub-allocation area where the project is going to go, and it establishes a new allocation area for that. So all of the tax increment that will be generated by the project when it happens, we will have a new 25-year period that we will collect that, which will then, if the bonds are issued, be available resources to repay the bonds. The project itself is construction of approximately a $13.2 million 67-unit multifamily apartment facility, related improvements and equipment to be located on South State Street and North 27th Street. And the financing, ultimately, the project, again, this is not approving the financing, but just adding the project to the plan. The project financing would be in an amount not to exceed $2 million.
Very nice. Any questions from the common, or any questions and or comments from the council? Any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, can conduct a roll call.
Blinker.
Aye.
Nargi.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Weiss.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Williamson.
Aye.
Downing.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0.
All right, Resolution 2024-05.
The resolution to amend the comprehensive plan for Tippecanoe County to include an update of the multi-hazard mitigation plan.
Mr. Reynolds,
Move to hear Resolution 2024-05.
Ms. Weist. Very good.
All right. Very good. So the multi-hazard mitigation plan is a requirement of the Federal Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000, which requires communities that participate in the National Flood Insurance Program to prepare a comprehensive document addressing hazards that threaten the community. There were regular meetings with the APC Planning Committee held over several months in 2022. They recently received some comments back from FEMA, which resulted in a slight revision, which results the plan in front of you today. This will be adopted by all of the entities located within Tippecanoe County, including entities like Shadeland that are not part of our zoning, but they will all pass the plan. Recommend your approval.
Thank you, Counselor. Any comments or questions from the council? Comments or question from the audience? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you conduct a roll call?
Blinker.
Aye.
Nargi.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Weiss.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Williamson.
Aye.
Downing.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0.
All right, reports of standing committees. Reports of special committees. Reports by the mayor.
No, sir.
Miscellaneous new business. Any reports from the council? Public comment? Seeing none. Motion to?
Move to adjourn.
Thank you, sir. Second?
Second?
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.